Today I want to talk about how I made a low profile drain fitting. We are putting a recirculating shower into our van, and I wanted to keep all of the plumbing inside the van so it couldn't freeze. We're going to travel to places that potentially could have freezing temperatures, and I didn't want any portion of the plumbing exposed. So to do that, I started with a drain from a sink and modified it to fit in and make a low profile drain. The fitting came with a long drain tube, which I cut and made it about 3/4 of an inch thick, and it'll be installed with some plumber's putty to seal it as it goes into the sink, into the shower pan. Then I took the nut that came with the fitting, glued some PVC to the bottom to make a little cup, glued a PEX fitting to the side for attaching a tube, and that would be placed into the bottom of the shower pan. I'm using a 3/8 inch food grade silicone tubing that's very flexible to connect this to the 3-way valve in the recirculating shower. There's several advantages of this tubing. It can be bent at a pretty tight angle without kinking due to the thick walls. It also eliminates all the elbows that I would have to put in if I was going with another solution like PEX. By eliminating those elbows, there's a couple advantages to that. It makes the water flow easier, so you get higher pressure when you're taking your shower. The second advantage is it eliminates a lot of points of failure. So when you're shaking and driving around, you don't have to worry about any of those fittings starting to leak. The floor of the van is insulated, but I'm going to put in a 1/2 inch layer of insulation into the floor for two reasons. One is even though this is a very shallow drain, it extends below the level of the shower pan. And so I want the shower to be able to stick this in there to have room for the drain and for routing the tubing out of the drain. The second reason is that on top of this extra insulation layer will insulate the bottom of the shower, so that in the morning the shower pan itself won't be as cold. Now the shower pan did not come with a hole pre-drilled, so I used a 1.5 inch hole saw to generate or put in the hole into the drain. So with those pieces all installed, the shower pan is now ready to get installed into our camper van. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about the shower pan, but I wanted to mention that I found this really nice screen filter to go in the drain to keep hair from going into the plumbing. The shower pan has ribs on the bottom that keep it flat on the floor and has a little slope towards the drain. But what I found was that when I put it on the floor, the ribs weren't perfectly flat. And so when I walked on it, it flexed a little bit and just didn't feel very solid. And so what I ended up doing is taking some Great Stuff rigid foam and applying that to these ribs and putting it on a flat surface to make sure that the bottom of the shower pan was just really solid. At the same time, I was able to improve the slope towards the drain a little bit, so that the water drains towards the drain a little bit faster, and that'll make sure that the drain gets lots of water available for the recirculating shower. And then finally, at the last step, I took the hose from the drain and glued that to the shower pan so that while the water's flowing, it could maybe be a little bit warmer than if it was just laying on the insulation or close to the wall of the van. And so with those improvements, I think it's a really rock solid shower pan to get installed into the van. I hope this has been a useful video, and thank you for watching.